the true origin of Christmas carols. Beautiful, comforting, magical. Christmas carols are one of the oldest and most beloved parts of a holiday season. But what if I told you Christmas carols weren't always welcomed? In fact, for centuries they were considered dangerous, even illegal. Yup, those gentle songs you hum while wrapping presents? They sparked riots, offended kings, were banned across entire countries, and nearly disappeared forever. Today we're uncovering the real strange and almost unbelievable history behind Christmas carols, and why they were once outlawed. The first Christmas carols weren't about Christmas. Let's start with the biggest misconception. The first carols had nothing to do with Christmas. The word carol comes from the French carole, meaning a circle dance. Early carols were upbeat, rhythmic songs performed during festivals, not religious hymns. Ancient Europeans sang carols for harvest celebrations, midwinter rituals, spring fertility festivals, Celtic New Year traditions, even pagan worship ceremonies. So originally, carols were closer to party anthems than peaceful Christmas hymns. When Christianity spread through Europe, priests tried to replace pagan songs with religious ones. But it didn't go well. Why? Because early church leaders hated carols. In the early Middle Ages, church leaders believed music should be solemn, serious, and controlled. So when villagers created lively Christmas songs in their own languages, not Latin, the church called them vulgar, unholy, disruptive. By the year 600, bishops across Europe were forbidding certain types of music during worship. Carols were banned from church walls, and priests were ordered to avoid anything that sounded too joyful. Imagine that! The songs we now see as magical and comforting were once considered too fun, but the people didn't care, and that's when carols went underground. The secret spread of Christmas carols. Regular people loved carols. They weren't going to give them up. So the tradition simply moved outdoors. Villagers sang in taverns, marketplaces, town squares, door-to-door gatherings. These early carols were playful, local, and sometimes a little inappropriate. Think medieval pub songs with biblical characters. They mixed religion with humor, folklore, and everyday life. By the 1200s, Christmas carols had become so popular that the church had no choice but to embrace them, thanks to one man who changed everything. The moment carols became official. Enter St. Francis of Assisi. In 1223, he created the first live nativity scene and encouraged people to sing joyous songs to celebrate it. He didn't want solemn chants. He wanted music people could feel. This was revolutionary. Suddenly, Christmas music was allowed, even encouraged. Carols spread across Europe, evolving into folk songs that mixed faith with storytelling. They told tales of shepherds, angels, travelers, markets, family life, everything. But this golden age didn't last, because soon, Christmas carols would be banned again. This time for political reasons. The king who declared carols illegal. Fast forward to the 1600s. The English Puritans, led by Oliver Cromwell, believed Christmas was sinful. They banned Christmas feasts, Christmas decorations, Christmas celebrations, Christmas carols. They saw carols as noisy, disorderly songs that encouraged drinking and revelry. Singing a Christmas carol in public could get you fined, arrested, or labeled a troublemaker. But England wasn't alone. In colonial America, Puritans outlawed Christmas entirely, and with it, carols vanished from churches and public spaces. For nearly 20 years in England and even longer in America, Christmas music was illegal. But once again, the people refused to comply. The underground rebellion of carolers. Even during the Christmas ban, secret carol singing continued. Groups of villagers would quietly gather in fields or forests, sometimes late at night, to sing forbidden songs by candlelight. To avoid being caught, they changed lyrics, disguised melodies, and created waits, groups who sang while keeping watch for patrols. These rebels kept carols alive during the darkest chapter of Christmas history, and when the monarchy was restored in 1660, carols burst back into public life with overwhelming popularity. But the version we sing today was shaped much later, during an era of transformation. the Victorian reinvention of Christmas carols. In the 1800s, the Victorian era redefined Christmas itself, thanks largely to Charles Dickens and the revival of classic traditions. This period gave us Silent Night, O Come All Ye Faithful, Hark, the Herald Angels Sing, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. Caroling became a symbol of kindness, community, and charity. Victorian carolers would gather outside wealthy homes to raise money for the poor. It was a social movement wrapped in music. Publishers released the first official carol collections, and choirs became a central part of holiday storytelling. This is the moment Christmas carols transformed into what we know today: gentle, nostalgic, and family-friendly. But carols still had one last transformation to make. How Christmas carols became a global phenomenon. The late 19th and early 20th centuries spread Christmas traditions worldwide through migration, missionary work, radio, recorded music, Hollywood films. White Christmas, the Christmas song, and Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas turned carols into emotional centerpieces of modern pop culture. They evolved from folk tradition, religious practice, protest music, cultural icon. And today, billions of people listen to Christmas music every year, whether they celebrate the holiday or not. But beneath all of that commercial glitter, the deeper meaning remains. So why do Christmas carols matter? The real magic of carols isn't just their melody or nostalgia. It's their history. They remind us that joy can survive, even when banned. Music can outlast governments, empires, and laws. Traditions thrive when people protect them, and sometimes the songs we take for granted were once acts of rebellion. So the next time you hear a Christmas carol, remember, you're listening to a 2,000-year story of celebration, resistance, creativity, suppression, and revival. A story that, just like the season itself, refuses to fade. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And subscribe for more surprising histories behind everyday traditions. This is the history behind simple things, wishing you warmth, wonder, and music this holiday season.